A very warm welcome from the bubble here at Wembley ahead of the weigh-in for the World Super Middleweight title clash between Billy Joe Saunders, who's back to try and make it 30-0, and Martin Murray, four-time world title challenger. He's been in really good shape this week and really fancying his chances. Golden opportunity for Martin and Billy Joe. I think a year on, after he was quite disappointing out in LA into the finish, we want to see how good he can become still, Billy Joe, because, you know, he's unbeaten. He's a two-weight champion of the world, but we still probably haven't quite seen his potential fulfilled.
And I think that just goes to show the potential that people see in Billy Joe Saunders. Yeah. You know, people saying he hasn't lived up to his potential yet. He's a two-weight world champion. And I don't think we've scratched the surface of how good Billy Joe Saunders can be. I think the pressure on him in this fight, most people expect him to come out and win comfortably. I think people in this bubble, being around Martin Murray, being around Jamie Moore, they're not so sure. What we don't see is what's going on behind the hotel rooms right now, which is 10 minutes to go till the weigh-in. People are weighing in. You can bet your life that there's still a few scary moments in that room to maybe just have a little skip or, you know, take the pants off if we've got to make weight, because this is the process that we're in now. Lockdown and the lack of certain facilities, the lack of sparring partners, and being in this bubble can throw up a lot of challenges. None more so than being in that arena with no one in. And Billy Joe Saunders has been flat in his recent performances. Now, is that because he's demotivated? Is that because he didn't train properly? Is that because maybe he's not as good as people thought he was? So these are the things that I will be championing into Martin Murray's ear right now. Watch his last fight. Watch the one before. He's not a 168-pounder. You know, he hasn't trained properly. He had to crash the weight to make the weight. And these are all the things that lift you when you're going into a challenge. You've got to be careful if you're Billy Joe Saunders. You know, we saw in a fight last week with Daniel Jacobs against Gabe Rosado. Everyone's talking about, you know, Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Smith, all these big fights. He puts in an under par performance and all of a sudden, his name's off the list. So for Billy Joe, everyone's saying Canelo, Triple G, Callum Smith if he can beat Canelo. But if you put in a poor performance, people lose heart in championing you. So there's pressure to win and there's pressure to perform. And for Martin Murray, there's no pressure. And it's just literally those guys taking the desire and taking, you know, the memory of Oliver Harrison and the momentum into this fight, and they really fancy it. But for Murray, there's been a couple of occasions where he's just let it slip a little bit in the fight. I don't think he can afford to come out a little bit lethargic and, you know, after 7 or 8 rounds it's close. He has to start fast, he has to push the pace. And I'm looking forward to it. You know, it's an all-British World Super Middleweight Championship, and we're lucky to have it at the moment. And this will probably be, touch wood, our last ever show behind closed doors.
We hope so, with the 1,000 tickets to go on sale for Anthony Joshua and Kubrat Pulev next week and then into the new year. We wait and see. It's ever changing the whole situation. I've been impressed with Billy Joe this week. He seems to have a real focus, and I think that's why we don't know. There's so many question marks, as you said. There's so many things that Martin Murray and Jamie Moore can pin on here. You know, the inactivity, the super middleweight limit, the fact he does blow so hot and cold, and we know, that potential that goes right back to when he was a kid, to when he was a top amateur as well, Billy Joe. But it seems there's been a little switch that's been flicked this week, or certainly in the camp with Mark Tibbs, that this is real business now. Maybe it's a little itch that he didn't get the Canelo fight, but I think he wants to prove a point in the next 12 to 18 months, and we sort of hope he does.
Yeah, I mean, look, he was so unlucky, wasn't he? He flew to LA for the press conference for the Canelo fight for Cinco de Mayo, and one day to go, COVID hit, and everyone just wanted to see what would happen, and then the fight evaporated. So he had the Canelo fight, it was all agreed. Now he has to come back into this fight. It's been a little bit of a process with Billy Joe to saying to him, you've got to take things seriously. In and out of the ring. We know he gets bored, we know he's got a good heart and he's a good bloke, but he does stupid things sometimes. Because he's bored, he's Jack the Lad, he thinks things are funny, that sometimes in bad taste, but he's a good person underneath it all, and he's a great fighter. So what we're trying to say is live the life. You're a superstar, act like one. And that comes by looking like a superstar, and starts with looking like a superstar on Friday night. Because that's what we want. Anything else but an electrifying performance from Billy Joe is not what we're after. So again, it's not, most trainers, most fighters would say, I just need to win on Friday, by any means necessary. I'm not saying that. I say we need more. Because fighters have to understand, and this goes for everybody on the card, you have to go out there and you have to entertain. I'm sorry. If you want to be a star, if you want people to want to watch you, if you want to get fight dates, if you want Sky, if you want the fans to say, and there you look at someone like James Tennyson, right? Every single time he steps through the ropes, he's electric, right? He lets his hands go from the first bell. He's always trying to knock out his opponent. And some fighters and some trainers might listen to me right now and say, oh, it's so easy for you to say, you're not the one in there, my fighter's not doing that. I'm just telling you the reality of life. I'm telling you the reality of situation. If you don't perform, if you don't entertain, if you don't excite, then you're at the back of the queue. Right? And the ones that will are at the front of the queue. This even comes down to the likes of Alan Babbage. You know, I see people saying, oh, he ain't that good, Alan Babbage. Well, let me tell you something. I think he's still trending on Twitter from his last fight, right? People love to watch excitement, entertainment, people trying to knock people out. And Billy Joe can't go in there and box off the back foot and dance around and, you know, for 12 rounds. He's got to be a little bit different. He's got to try and be aggressive. He's got to make a statement. So all these guys on the card, and it filters down, Adam, to be honest, to Lerone Richards, you know, also to Zach Parker, guys that are in, you could call marking time fights. I don't want to see a marking time fight where you mark time over the 8 or 10 rounds. I want to see a marking time fight where you go out and have some fun. You enjoy yourself, you look good, you make people want to see you again. And that's what Billy's got to do.
And these opportunities that have been provided, we've seen a lot of that over the last few weeks and months since the sort of first lockdown, since boxing came back with Fight Camp. You know, plenty of fighters giving fantastic performances, you know, even if they're in defeat, you know, going through, you know, they're concentrating harder, they're delivering, maybe they're listening to you. What else are you really excited about on this card?
I mean, certainly James Tennyson against Josh O'Reilly. It's a great fight, two guys. O'Reilly's ranked ahead of James Tennyson. But James Tennyson, at the moment, he's got this kind of inner belief that he can just steamroll everyone. Someone tweeted me the other day, I like the new name, the Irish Golovkin, you know, because at that weight class, he is very, very dangerous.
And he looks great at lightweight.
He does. The only question mark still is we did see some frailties from him at 130 pounds, and we think it's because he was 130 pounds. He's a massive lightweight. I mean, you see him next to O'Reilly, he's huge. So how did he make 130? And he couldn't handle particularly the body shots at 130 pounds.
You think O'Reilly will test him unbeaten over from Canada?
Yeah. I mean, it's his big step up as well. He's not, you know, neither guy have got a monstrous world level win on their resume. You know, Tennyson's best win is Martin Wald for the European title. His best opponent was Tevin Farmer, and he was outclassed against Tevin Farmer. O'Reilly is undefeated, but he's never boxed at world level. Got a good team, Tyler Buxton and a team from Canada. They're here to win. But I just don't know how you're going to stop James Tennyson. Beneath that, I love the fight with Shannon Courtney and Dorota Norek. I mean, Shannon's put so much pressure on herself. I saw the pit that Sky put out earlier. I mean,
it's incredible, isn't it?
It is, but you don't realise, you know, it's a lonely sport for these fighters. And I remember going back into the change rooms at Fight Camp, and she sat on her stool. This is after the Rachel Ball fight, which I thought was a draw, but, you know, could have gone either way.
It was close and a good fight.
And a good fight, and a good performance, actually, from Shannon Courtney. I think a few people weren't sure if Shannon Courtney was just a gimmick, you know, if she could really fight. She showed in that fight she can really fight. But the pressure she's put on herself, when I went back to the change rooms, I mean, she was, you know, it wasn't even that she was crying. She just, you could tell this young woman's world has just fallen apart. But the good news is she's used that pain to drive herself in camp. She's got herself down to 118 pounds. I think it's 8 or 9 pounds lighter than the Rachel Ball fight, which is great news. She can campaign for a shot at the World Bantamweight title, which, you know, Rachel Ball has just been involved with as well. So looking to make that rematch. She's got her hands full with Dorota Norek. You know, she's got an MMA background. She's messy, she's scrappy, she's strong, she comes forward. Shannon's just got to stay patient in that fight because she's going to be trying so hard to look good. Just let it flow, let it flow. Zach Parker's another guy who's got to make a statement. You know, he's number one to Billy Joe Saunders. Cesar Nunez is coming over saying, blimey, if I beat Zach Parker, I could be number one with the WBO. The professional debut, of course, of Lerone Richards as well. It's going to be another busy night. But ultimately, it's all about Billy Joe Saunders because he may be, pound for pound, the best fighter in Britain. A lot of people think he is. And he can go some way to prove that with a brilliant performance over Martin Murray. And really, it has to be brilliant. It has to be brilliant, otherwise people will moan and people will question him. But Martin Murray's got other ideas.
Eddie, it's a fascinating hors d'oeuvre before next week, the big one. Anthony Joshua here in the bubble. You can't quite believe it, can you? Kubrat Pulev as well. What's the latest on that? When's Kubrat Pulev and the team arriving? How's everything shaping up before the big night on December the 12th?
Everything's good. I mean, at this top level, these guys have COVID tests non-stop. And that's really the big fingers crossed at this stage. You know, Anthony Joshua, we believe, might have had that illness many months ago, so hopefully that's not even a possibility for him. But everyone's being so careful. Kubrat Pulev, I believe, arrives tomorrow evening. He's been tested throughout. We did get the news today that Glowacki, who's fighting Akoli, tested positive this morning. It's just an ongoing nightmare, Adam, to be honest with you. It's just like, just get in the bubble. And even I know when Anthony Joshua will be testing, I think he comes in Tuesday of next week, it's just going to be like, you know, sleepless nights, just waiting for results and waiting just to confirm that we can finish the year with a massive bang with AJ against Pulev. It will be so special to get that fight on, and it will be so special to see 1,000 spectators back in Wembley. But these next few days, while everyone's getting tested, I'm afraid are extremely hairy.
Yeah, as we've seen, one failed test. And what do you do about that? You've then got to get someone quickly in. It's obviously difficult from abroad. And there's so much behind the scenes, isn't there? Organisational, operational to go through to make something happen.
I mean, the best way to describe it is that literally you just keep on getting kicked in the proverbials. I think that's the word we can use on this platform. And you get up and you think, oh, right, we've got, and bosh, you go back straight in and you're on your knees again, and then you get up and then, you know, it's never ending. So what I prefer to do is I prefer to share the pain with you and share the pain with you and share the pain with the fans and just be honest with them. So this morning I tweeted and I said, Glowacki's out, any top 10 cruiserweight in the world, anyone, let's do it.
Roll up, roll up.
Roll up, anyone. You know, we're talking to Munchu, we're talking to Sisliak, we're talking to Kevin Lorena, maybe even Richard Reckport. I don't know, but there may be an opportunity for someone else. We've got to speak to the WBO to get this vacant world title. But there's got to be a proper quality fight with a top-ranked cruiserweight. Good news with Akoli. I was really surprised. You know, when you have to make that phone call to tell a guy who's been waiting for a year to fulfill his dream against Glowacki that it's not happening, he was extremely calm. He said, no problem, who are we going to get? And now the search continues.
Great reaction.
Yeah, great reaction, exactly what you want. Because sometimes you could tell a fighter and they're just deflated. He said, no problem, I still want to win a world title, I want to fight next week, I want to knock someone out. Bring me anyone you can find. And we're talking to top names, so we'll be okay. But like I said, the best thing to do is be honest and let the fans see what happens behind the scenes. At the moment, with COVID, this is a complete nightmare. So, you know, ultimately,
there's plenty else on the bill as well.
Oh, yeah,
Two other big heavyweight fights.
Fury against Marius Watt. You've got Bakoli against Kuzmin, another great heavyweight fight as well. So we've got a couple of other little gems to add as well. A lot very exciting. But the main priority for today and the next 24 hours is to secure Akoli's opponent and the world title shot, because it's a vacant title. You know, if Glowacki is not available, and unfortunately for him, he's not, we move on and we continue to search for the World Championship fight next Saturday.
Just a word about the fans. Obviously, there are 1,000 fans that are going to get into Wembley next week. So tickets go on sale tomorrow, and it's first come, first served, level playing field.
Yeah, I mean, again, I've had people texting me, you know, people who, my friends, you know, saying, Eddie, just leave me 4, right? I'll pay the office. And, you know, I said, no. Josh Kelly messaged me this morning. Shannon Courtney messaged me last night saying, if I win on a Friday, can you just leave me 4 tickets for AJ? No. I said, even the fighters' families aren't getting access to those tickets. Those tickets are simply coming in through the venue, obviously through the local council. They've got specifications in place to make sure they're from the same household. It's a very detailed process. So if you have my number, please do not text me or call me about Anthony Joshua tickets. I don't have any. We have 1,000 tickets. I could sell 100,000 tickets today for Joshua against Pulev, but I can't, and it's devastating. So please don't text me, phone me, email for any tickets. I don't have them. Thank you.
But it's a very important night, and if you can't get a ticket and you're watching it on Sky Sports box office, it's a dangerous fight. He's got the mouth-watering matchups with Tyson Fury if he gets past this huge hurdle. And remember, he's just reclaimed the world titles. He's defending them again for the first time.
And we're all nervous. We're all concerned because AJ is as well. He knows the pressure's on. He knows that all he has to do is beat Kubrat Pulev on December 12th, and the Fury fight, the undisputed fight, will present itself. But it's going to be a difficult fight. Pulev's a top contender. He's trained very hard. One defeat to Klitschko years and years ago. He's been undefeated for many years. Technically very good, great jab. AJ, I think, has got to not show him too much respect, bust him up, beat him up and knock him out. I think you're going to see a devastating performance from the best heavyweight on the planet in Anthony Joshua.
And do you think Tyson Fury will be one of those 1,000 that makes it in, that just gets himself down to ringside and jumps in the ring afterwards, possibly?
I believe so. I mean, I think that he should be coming. You know, if he wants to fight Anthony Joshua, it's not a case of calling him out, it's a call of doing his research, you know, and building the fight. So Tyson Fury is more than welcome to come down. You know, I only live 45 minutes away from Wembley. He can come around on Sunday afternoon for a roast as well if he wants. And a couple.
Will you be doing the cooking?
I will, if he asks me to. I'll do anything he wants, not a problem. But look, we just want to get that fight made. But first things first, we've seen it before, Madison Square Garden with Andy Ruiz. You know, when we were talking about the Wilder fight, this is it. This is the last hurdle. Kubrat Pulev, December the 12th, Sky Sports box office.
Finally, before we start the weigh-in, what are we looking for today? Billy Joe Saunders, Martin Murray specifically. I mean, they're experienced professionals. They should both look fantastic at the weight.
You should. You can always see the look in the eye, can't you? If things have been a little bit tough over the last 24, 48 hours. Both guys coming up from middleweight originally, so you'd like to think they'll be comfortable within the limit, but we'll see what kind of shape they're in on the scales.
Who does that favour more, do you think?
I think Murray's boxed at 168 sooner in his career. I mean, Billy Joe's just moved there in his last couple of fights, so I don't think it really favours either man. Yesterday, Murray looked the bigger man at the press conference, but I don't think that's really going to matter. I think it's what happens when the bell goes. Someone has to take this fight by the scruff of the neck. You know, we can't see a Jacobs-Rosado matchup where it's sort of, you're not going to hurt me, I'm not going to hurt you, we can just get through this 12 rounds together and then, you know, we're okay. It's go out there and grab it if you're Martin Murray, or it's go out there and stamp your authority if you're Billy Joe Saunders. Hopefully, if we get both guys doing that, we'll get a cracker.
Thanks very much, Eddie. We'll let you go to up onto the stage, weigh-in about to start here. World Super Middleweight title. Billy Joe Saunders, Martin Murray, and a host of other fighters on the card. So I'll just step out of vision and we can get over to David Diamante.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the SSE Arena Wembley here in London, England for the official weigh-in for the great fight card we have taking place here tomorrow night, Friday night. And it's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing. We're sponsored by William Hill, Wow Hydrate, Wingstop, and JD Sports. All the action will be televised live around the world on Sky Sports and DAZN, and the first two fights of the night will go out live on Sky Sports Facebook and YouTube channels. So now it's time to go ahead and bring the fighters up to the stage so they can face the scale and face each other. Our first contest, 6 rounds in the featherweight division. Making his way to the stage at this time, 5 victories against 1 defeat, fighting out of Carmarthen, Wales. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Italian stallion, Angelo Dragoni.
Here comes Angelo Dragoni, 30 years old, from Wales. He's won 5 of 6, very confident, and he knows he's an underdog here, but he wanted this opportunity. Former milkman and a real character from Carmarthen. Runs a kids academy too, which is always good to see. Angelo Dragoni.
27.9 pounds for Angelo Dragoni.
Looks in really good shape and really buoyed up for this one. And he'll need to be, because Dante Dixon could be a little bit special.
And his opponent now making his way to the stage, fighting out of Sheffield, England. He's undefeated, 4 victories, no defeats, 3 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome Dante, the Problem Dixon.
Well, he could be a problem for a lot of young fighters. He's got plenty of talent, only 20 years of age, very good amateur, plenty of stoppages in that, won 2 national titles. And the word around the circuit is he is particularly impressive. We've seen him a couple of times on Sky, and we look forward to his return tomorrow night. Dante Dixon.
£127.6 for Dante the Problem Dixon.
Both fighters looking in tremendous shape and ready to kick off this Friday fight night. Hope you enjoyed the golden contract last night. What a performance from Jazza Dickens to round things off. The social distance, vital of course. All the health and safety regulations in place.
Friday night match from boxing.
And a good fight. Really looking forward to it. Dante Dixon and Angelo Dragoni. We'll try and get a quick line with Dante. If you just come and stand there, you can take the mask off. That's great. Dante, the problem, and I said just now that you could become a problem for a lot of young fighters with the talent that you have as an amateur, unbeaten as a pro. You're only 20. Are you believing in that hype yet, or are you just relaxed and taking it step by step?
A bit relaxed, taking it step by step, but I do believe the hype a bit because it's there for a reason. I've been performing, so it's there for a reason.
Dragoni looks up for it, he looks ready. You expecting your first big test as a pro?
Yeah, I'm expecting the first big test, but I expect to pass with flying colours, so I look forward to putting on an amazing performance this Friday.
Good to see you, Dante. Thanks very much. Enjoy yourself, get yourself some food, rehydrate. I'm sure he will. Dante Dixon there to kick off proceedings on Friday night at Wembley against Angelo Dragoni. Interesting little fight, as so many have been on the post-lockdown return to boxing. Fight camp and the Wembley residency. We've also had Milton Keynes and Peterborough and various other places to savour to.
In the super middleweight division, making his way up to the stage this time, professional record 11 victories, 2 defeats, 1 draw. He has 2 wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Manchester, England, please welcome John, the Teflon John Telford.
Here's John Telford, who took this at fairly short notice. He's decent from Manchester, 11 wins in 14 fights. Nearly won the Central Area title in Altrincham on an Ultimate Boxer undercard. Just got squeezed out by Jack Kilgannon. Had a good win over Jay Byrne.
170.5 pounds for Telford.
And relishing this chance to perform under the lights over at the arena tomorrow night.
And his opponent now making his way to the stage, undefeated as a professional, 3 fights, 3 victories. Fighting out of Southampton, please welcome Louis the Saint Edmondson.
Southampton having a pretty decent start to the Premier League season, and here is Louis Edmondson, the 24-year-old from the Saints. 3 fights, 3 wins. Good amateur as well, with 57 victories against only 3 defeats. ABA Youth Champion. How far will he go in the pros?
171.2 pounds for Edmondson.
Really looking forward to seeing Louis Edmondson. Made his debut at the Albert Hall on the Dubois Tete card last September. Boxed at home in Southampton on a Steve Bendel show. We remember Steve. And also in Wakefield on November the 11th when he beat Scott Williams. He's won all 12 rounds he's boxed so far, but Telford more experienced as a pro. 2 defeats in those 14 fights, and he'll fancy his chances.
6 rounds super middleweights.
We'll get a quick word with Louis. I know he wants to rehydrate quickly, and we'll let you do that, but that's it, get your mask down. It's complicated these days, isn't it?
Is it on, is it off? I'm not sure what's going on.
Looking forward to Friday. It's a massive night, a massive opportunity for you to appear on this big stage.
Yeah, we can't wait now. Obviously, we've been there a few days. It's dragged out a bit, but the weigh-in's done now. I'm ready to go. I can't wait.
You're excited? A little step up against a pretty seasoned professional.
Yeah, I can't wait. I feel like a step that I'm ready to make, and I'm looking forward to showing everyone what I can do.
Time to rehydrate, get some food inside you.
That's it, enjoy some food.
There you
Beef
go.
up a bit, and we're ready to go.
Thanks very much, Louis.
Cheers,
Enjoy yourself. Cheers. See Louis tomorrow night. Popular character, exciting young fighter.
Our next contest, 8 rounds in the super middleweight division. First making his way to the stage, his professional record, 28 victories, 14 defeats, 1 no decision. He has 12 wins coming by way of knockout. He's the former Finnish middleweight and light heavyweight champion, fighting out of Helsinki, Finland. Please welcome Timo Stadimali Lane.
Very experienced fighter from Finland, 43 outings, 28 wins there. Timo Lane, who was described by Eddie Hearn at the press conference yesterday as a Tom Cruise lookalike. I think he was quite surprised by that. A lot of questions coming in on the stream. David Elwood, what fight on the card are you most looking forward to except the main event? Good question, as Timo Lane checks in. I'm really looking forward to James Tennyson's battle with Josh O'Reilly, who's unbeaten from Canada. I think Tennyson's really impressed us this year after the move up to lightweight. He'll be weighing in shortly, but he'll have a test on his hands against a fighter who's never tasted defeat. Timo Lane has lost a few, but he's always in tough, good fights. Boxed internationally for Finland.
He's the southpaw, undefeated, 13-0 with 3 knockouts. He's the former British, the former Commonwealth, the former WBO European and WBO International Super Welterweight champion, the undefeated charge from New Malden, London, England, Laurent Sniper the Boss Richards.
Well, he's made a bit of an impression, hasn't he, in the last 2 or 3 weeks? Laurent Richards, signed by Matchroom. He's now in the bubble for the second time, and this time he's fighting. South Londoner, started boxing at 6, very good amateur, winning 91 of 100 fights and undefeated in 13 as a pro. He won the British and Commonwealth titles and is a big addition to this super middleweight division.
£172 for Laurent Richards.
Looks in immaculate shape under the expert tutelage of Dave Colwell now. Dave really excited to be working with Laurent. He's got so much skill and ability and a personality to go with it as well. So I think what he was saying yesterday was that he wants to fight and fight regularly, and he starts the next chapter in his career tomorrow night at Wembley against Timo Lane. Richards against Lane, 8 rounds in the super middleweight division.
Richards v. Lane, 8 rounds, super middleweight, Friday night, Matchroom Boxing.
Looking forward to this. Laurent Richards against Timo Lane. We'll try and have a quick word with Laurent. Have a quick word. I know there's a lot to do, isn't there, after a weigh-in, especially rehydrating, which I know you all want to do very quickly. You ready for your Matchroom debut, for your return to boxing on a massive stage here?
Yeah, I'm ready to showcase my skills. I'm good. I'm nice. Yeah, the weight was lovely. I made it nice. And yeah, I can't wait to show everyone what I'm all about.
What are you all about? Timo Lane's obviously a seasoned fighter. He's experienced. He's been around a long time. What are we going to see from Lerone tomorrow night?
The sweet science of boxing. You know, me and Dave Coldwell have been working really hard in improving my game, adding to my arsenal, and you're going to see that on Friday night.
And it's such an exciting super middleweight division, isn't it? Obviously with Billy Joe Saunders topping the bill here and so much happening worldwide.
Yeah, the super middleweight division is booming, and it's good that I'm a part of it now.
Now we know you're a character, you like your computer games. Someone tells me you like the bingo as well, is that right?
I love a bingo, yeah. Yeah, I love my PC and my PlayStation, yeah.
We look forward to getting to know you better, Lerone. Enjoy it, get some food inside, you see you tomorrow night.
Thank you very much.
Lerone Richards there with Dave Coldwell. There you go. Hey, it's amazing what you find out about fighters. Dave Coldwell didn't even know that.
We're weighing in 10 rounds for the vacant WBO International Super Middleweight Championship. This bout is being brought to you courtesy of Matchroom Boxing in association with Team Sauerland. Introducing up first to the stage, 17 victories, 2 defeats, 1 draw. He's got 9 wins coming by way of knockout. Presentando de Pamplona, Comunidad Foral de Navarra, España. He fights out of Pamplona, Spain. Please welcome the former Spanish middleweight champion, Cesar Bam Bam Núñez.
He's never run with the bulls, this man. He's admitted that. Cesar Núñez, but he can fight. 17 victories in 20 from Pamplona. In Spain, of course, 2 defeats and 1 draw. Made great progress at the beginning and had a couple of defeats on the road, but he's back to winning ways. 35 now, so needs to take this opportunity. Cesar Núñez.
167.7 pounds for Núñez.
Looks fired up, will need to be, with the form that Zach Parker's in at the moment.
And now his opponent, ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the stage, undefeated as a professional, 19-0, 13 big wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Derby, he's the former British super middleweight champion, ranked #1 in the world by the WBO, and the reigning and undefeated WBO Intercontinental super middleweight champion. Please welcome Zach Parker.
Well, here comes the 26-year-old from Woodville, 19 wins in his 19 outings, undefeated, guided by Paul Mann and Errol Johnson, who we see in the bubble every single week. Errol, one of the busiest men in boxing, great guy. And Zach has a real opportunity now. He's got himself into this position. Nisse Sauerland has guided him beautifully, and he will be fighting the winner of the Billy Joe Saunders Martin Murray clash, providing he comes through tomorrow night.
167 pounds, bang on for Zach Parker, 167.
Looked good, didn't he, Parker, when he fought Rohan Murdoch in March? It was possibly the last, or one of the last shows we had before the pandemic struck, and it was a good win for him. Stopped Murdoch in the 11th round, and he believes he has the size of a full super middleweight and the hunger and the ambition. We'll get a word with him in a minute, but he's got to take care of business here against Cesar Núñez, who brings a good record with him. See that height and reach, though, that Parker has, and he has plenty of tools. The youngster.
Parker B. Núñez, 10 rounds for the vacant WBO International Super Middleweight Championship.
Good respect there between the pair of them, and we've been seeing this time and time again at the Wembley residency. So much respect between the fighters. Zach will have a quick word with you.
All right, good.
Good to see you again. We keep crossing paths in the bubble. That's what happens, isn't it?
That's it. Not all close knit in there, isn't it? So
it is. What's it like, sort of being around your opponent? It's a different sort of setup, and you just got to keep focused and your mind switched on.
Yeah. Obviously, like when you're eating dinner and that, they're literally sitting right next to us. So yeah, just got to keep focused and keep focused about the night and keep focused on what you got to do. It's a job. It's a job at the end of the day.
Nunes brings a good record and some form into this fight, and obviously it's like a banana skin for you. You're so close, aren't you, to getting that world title shot, so you must make sure that you take care of business Friday.
Yeah, 100%. That's why everyone's calling it the banana skin fight. That's why, especially in these lockdown ones, you've seen people lose, the underdog win. So yeah, I've got to be 100% on the ball and make sure I get the win and go into bigger things.
So the key is get the W and then sit back and watch Billy Joe Saunders and Martin Murray and keep your fingers crossed that you get that shot early in the new year.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Hopefully get the win and then watch ringside and then pick some points out and hopefully get that fight next.
Zach, we wish you well. Go and have another meal near your opponent, but not too near.
Cheers, boys.
Thanks very much. Zach Parker there. Very close, number 1 with the WBO. Very close to getting that world title shot.
The weigh-in continues. Our next contest, 8 rounds in the bantamweight division. Now making her way to the stage, 6 victories, 1 defeat. She has 1 win coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Poznan, Poland, please welcome Dorota Doris Norek.
Well, you might think you're seeing double. The twins, Dorota Norek is the fighter, 31 from Poznan in Poland, 6 wins in 7 fights, just the 1 defeat, MMA form as well. She's tough, the pit bull. Cleaning the scales, absolute health and safety paramount before Shannon Courtney comes back in.
Opponent now making her way to the stage, 5 victories, 1 defeat, 2 wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Watford, ladies and gentlemen, Shannon, the baby-faced assassin, Courtney.
Well, a really important night ahead for Shannon Courtney. She's put a lot of pressure on herself, bitterly disappointed with what happened at fight camp, but it was a really good fight she had with Rachel Ball. Some people thought she nicked it, some people thought Rachel got it, but she was in tears afterwards and putting so much pressure on herself. But she has dusted herself down, she's got back into the gym, and she's coming in several pounds lighter into the bantamweight division, and she cannot wait to get back out there. Shannon Courtney.
117.9 pounds for Shannon Courtney.
I think it's the right weight for her. I think she's looking in terrific condition. Well done to her and her training team. Just getting more questions in on the feed. Dwayne Burke wants to know, where does Billy Joe Saunders go after a possible win? He'd like to fight, obviously, the likes of Canelo, Callum, Chris Eubank Jr., those sort of fights, but Zach Parker will want a shot at him. So let's see what happens first, Dwayne, when we get to Friday night at Wembley, and see if he gets past Martin Murray, who's so up for this. The Pitbull. Look at the way she's standing. Ready for Shannon Courtney tomorrow night. Women's boxing absolutely flying. So much talent, ability, and so many good fights. Dorota Norek there and Shannon Courtney. Let's have a quick word with Shannon. Just drop back a little bit, Shannon, with the old social distancing. I know you want to rehydrate yourself. You're looking terrific shape. You're lighter. Do you feel better?
I feel fantastic. I genuinely feel like I'm in the best shape of my life.
Do you think you need to be now? Obviously, it's such a great time for women's boxing. There's so many opportunities that could present themselves next year for you if you get through Friday night.
The key is win this, stay ready, don't go mad over Christmas, stay in shape like I am now, so I'm always prepared. So when the phone call comes on there, I'm ready. Next year is title collecting.
Do you feel pressure on your shoulders, or is this a time where you can relax and enjoy your boxing and go out and do what you do best? Because she's tough, the Pitbull.
I'm tough. Listen, we'll see what happens tomorrow. There's always pressure on every fight, but I enjoy pressure.
We love the attitude. Shannon Courtney, thank you very much. Off she goes to rehydrate before tomorrow, down in her new weight class, down at bantamweight against Dorota Norek. Really looking forward to seeing Shannon. Such a great time for women's boxing. Savannah Marshall becoming a world champion, Chantel Cameron, and of course Rachel Ball.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next
winning that fight with Terry Harper and Katie Taylor on that magic night a few weeks back.
For the eliminator for the WBA Lightweight Championship of the World. Introducing up first to the stage, undefeated as a professional, 16-0 with 6 wins coming by way of knockout. He's the IBA Intercontinental and NABA Lightweight Champion, fighting out of Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Please welcome Josh Dubs O'Reilly.
Well, he's a little bit of a mystery man, this fella. 29 from Hamilton in Canada. He's got some Irish connections as well, as we've been learning this week. He spent some time over in Ireland, and he's 16-0, so it's a great opportunity. He's undefeated, of course. Took up boxing at 14. What a chance. Looking very good, and brings a big team with him, and they are ready for what will be an onslaught, surely, from James Tennyson, one of the most exciting fighters in Britain at the moment.
And his opponent now making his way to the stage. His professional record, 27 victories, 3 defeats. He has 23 wins coming by way of knockout. He's the former British, Commonwealth, European, and WBA International Champion, and the former World Title Challenger. Here's the hard-hitting charge from Belfast, Northern Ireland, James, the Assassin Tennyson.
Well, they're calling him the Assassin. Eddie's likes the Irish Golovkin. Here's James Tennyson, guided by Mark Dunlop, his great manager and trainer Tony Dunlop. And this 27-year-old really has had a fantastic year and a turbulent 12 months for so many people, but he has come out. He had a great win in fight camp over Gavin Gwynn. He's looking terrific at lightweight.
134.8 pounds for Tennyson.
And he is closing in on the big world title picture. Did have a world title challenge before. That was down a weight class against Tevin Farmer, and he was outclassed that night, but Tennyson says he feels a lot better and a lot stronger at lightweight. He's a big lightweight, but he's got to take care of business here, and it might be hard. Josh O'Reilly from Canada. I think apart from the main event, this is the one that we're really looking forward to. Terrific clash. Tennyson is drilling through his opponents with knockout victories, but Josh O'Reilly, he will be looking for his 17th and most important win. Let's just have a word with Josh. If you can, you just come over there, Josh, just behind the line there. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. I know it's complicated, all these COVID restrictions. How are you enjoying it in the bubble? How's it been this week over from Canada?
It's been great. It's been really, really easy. Most fight weeks are cutting weight and having to sell tickets and all this stupid shit. So it's been good.
Unbeaten in 16, of course. What can we expect from you tomorrow night? We know all about James Tennyson. What are you going to give us?
It's going to be an entertaining fight, man. Tune in. Plan to outbox him early on and chip away at him and then try and take him out late.
And you've obviously got world title ambitions of your own, so it's a vital night for you. You've never been on this sort of a platform before. Do you think this is what you've relished and this is what it's all about, your long career so far?
Of course, man. That's what everyone's trying to get to. It's a huge stage, and I'm happy to be here.
Josh, we wish you well. Thanks very much for talking to us. Josh O'Reilly, James Tennyson tomorrow night. Excuse the language there. But really good fight. Looking forward to it in the lightweight division. Now we have our main event about to come to the scales. Saunders Murray should have happened a couple of years ago. It does happen, providing they both weigh in fine, which I'm sure they will. tomorrow night, Friday the 4th of December. Saunders Murray for the WBO World Super Middleweight title. You can see Martin out of the corner of my eye. Sure, he's itching to get on the scale so he can get off and get into that buffet, as all the fighters will. It's probably their favourite time to rehydrate. The weight making is done and they can relax and get some food and fluid back inside them. Jamie Moore just behind him, who's been through this process many, many times.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to weigh in the main event for Friday night's big night of boxing action taking place here at the SSE Arena Wembley in London, England. 12 rounds of boxing scheduled for the WBO Super Middleweight Championship of the World. Introducing up first to the stage, the challenger. His professional record, 39 victories, 5 defeats, 1 draw. He has 17 wins coming by way of knockout. He fights out of St. Helens, England. He's the former British, the former Commonwealth, the former WBC Silver and interim WBA Middleweight Champion. Friday night, he'll be making his 5th attempt at a world title. Please welcome Martin Murray.
Well, unquestionably one of the most popular fighters on the British scene, and he has been for a very long time. 4 previous world title efforts, 2 of them arguably should have gone his way. Felix Sturm, Sergio Martinez out in Argentina, bitterly close. Nicely tucked in inside the 12-stone limit. Martin Murray with one last golden opportunity, and he would become, I think, the first fighter to win it at the 5th attempt. We know George Groves did it on the 4th. Frank Bruno did it famously at the old Wembley Stadium at the 4th time of asking. George will be with us tomorrow night to see whether Martin Murray can pull off what would be a big upset of Billy Joe Saunders.
Friday night, he'll be appearing in his 7th world title fight. He'll be making his 2nd defense of the super middleweight title. He's a southpaw. He's undefeated. His professional record, 29 victories, no defeats. He has 14 wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Hatfield, London, England, here's the former middleweight champion of the world and the reigning, defending, undefeated WBO super middleweight champion of the world, Billy Joe Saunders.
One of the finest fighters of this generation to come out of Britain, Billy Joe Saunders, 2-weight world champion. Unbeaten and a big stretch, 29-0. Only Josh Warrington just slightly ahead of him on that score, but he'll equal it if he becomes 30-0 tomorrow night. He's been out for a year. A lot's been expected of Billy Joe, and at 31, is it time to make a real statement? He looks in terrific shape. Yeah, both looking fantastic. They are true professionals, these two, Saunders and Murray. Their careers have dipped around each other all the way through the middleweights and super middleweight divisions. They were meant to meet a couple of years ago at middleweight, and now it happens at the 12-stone mark. And that, Martin Murray believes, is an advantage for him, and that Billy Joe is yet to have a big win at super middleweight. He missed out, Billy, on the Canelo fight that goes to Callum Smith. But this is business for Billy Joe. And in many ways it depends on what sort of mood he's in. He has blown hot and cold. The best Billy Joe is a sight to behold. Martin Murray will give it absolutely everything. And Jamie Moore, when we chatted yesterday, is so happy with the way Martin's camp has gone. And fantastic to see the respect between the two of them. Billy Joe Saunders, Martin Murray, finally happens. And we'll try and get a word with both of them. Billy, if you just stay there.
Sky, yeah? I'm here to rock and roll.
You're here to rock and roll. You look in terrific shape. So does Martin Murray. Plenty of respect between the pair of you. You're two excellent professionals, and you're ready to rumble.
Listen, we're both in good shape. We're both looking ready for the, well, we're both obviously clearly looking ready for the fight. So let's give the fans what they want. A good dust-up, a good scrap. Let's have it.
You've heard the name Martin Murray for so long, sort of connected with you at various times. You've studied him a lot. I noticed that at the press conference you were reeling out, his fights after fights, so you know him well. What do you expect from him tomorrow?
Listen, I expect the best. Martin Murray, 4-time world title challenger. So I expect the best from Martin Murray, and it's going to be a good fight, like I say. Third time lucky, he's coming to win. I'm coming to win, so the fight fans tune in, ready to watch Sky Sports and still.
Sometimes, Billy, finally, we see the best of Billy Joe Saunders. Sometimes you're flattered to deceive. What are we going to get Friday?
I've got a woman waiting for me now up there, so I have to leave Sky where they're at right now. They're waiting. Finish me off. God bless you.
Billy, there's always something with Billy Joe Saunders. And there's Mark Tibbs as well. We'll bring Martin Murray in. Martin, looking in terrific shape. Obviously, this is a great opportunity for you. Can you do it at the 5th time? I mean, no one would begrudge that. Everyone will be celebrating, certainly in St Helens.
Yeah, no one's expecting it, but me, my team, everyone back home, my family, we all know how hard I've worked for this, and I know it's my time. I'm ready for it. I've trained the best I've trained in years, if not the best camp I've ever had. I've made the weight the best I've ever made it, and I'm feeling good. I'm ready to go.
You look in brilliant condition. Do you believe at super middleweight that there's going to be a slight difference there? Because obviously Billy Joe's come up. He hasn't really shone in the 12-stone brigade yet. Are you going to take it to him from the opening bell and really test him?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I will do. We know that's the way to beat Billy Joe. But, he's going to be expecting that as well. I know he's expecting me to jump down his throat. So I've got a good boxing brain as well. I've been in the game a long time. So yeah, we've got a good game plan, and we're confident it's going to work.
All those years ago when we were in Germany for Felix Sturm, obviously you were
9 years ago
yesterday, and it's gone so quick, hasn't it? Sergio Martinez, obviously you nearly won, you should have won out in Argentina. It hasn't worked out for you at that pinnacle, at that fun level. Do you think all the sort of stars, the moon, everything aligns Friday night?
Everything definitely, and I've never. You look back in hindsight, you've got to take them opportunities when they come. I've always said when I turn pro, I'd go anywhere, fight anybody. The opportunities come up. I was set up as cannon for a relay, you know what I mean? It was set up to fail. I've got a proper chance here. All I've wanted is a fair crack at the whip, and I've got it tomorrow.
Martin, wish you well. Go and rehydrate. Great to see you. Fantastic, Martin Murray. I'll just wind up the weigh-in show just with Jamie Moore, my old friend. Good to see you, Jamie. And Martin seems in a fantastic place, and you've worked with him for so long, obviously under the great late Oliver Harrison as well. There's a lot of emotions that are going around because Oliver would have been so proud of this, and Martin looks ready to go.
Yeah, he is. Obviously, he's had them opportunities before, and he's been on the wrong end of some decisions. Not had a fair crack of the whip. We're just glad it's in Britain this time, and hopefully he can go in there and perform the way he's been doing in the gym, because if he does what he's done in the gym tomorrow night, he's going to win the fight. And as I've said this week, we know how big a task it is against Billy Joe. We're not underestimating him by any stretch of the imagination. He's made the weight great, which could have been a question, so that sort of takes that little bit of an edge maybe away from us. But I'm not really relying on Billy Joe. I'm relying on Martin Murray, and like I say, he's fell short a couple of times, but I've just got a feeling tomorrow night's his night.
We like this sort of fight, don't we? Take your Martin Murray hat off for a moment, but it's two, really, really good British fighters. It's a world title fight. They've nearly met before. There's a lot of respect between the pair of them. They look in tremendous shape too. It's a proper fight.
Of course it is, and Marty's still relevant. He's still been active, still been boxing at a good level, and he's 38, but you tell me one person in the country who will begrudge Martin Murray a fight, knowing what he's been through in the past, knowing those heartbreaking moments when he should have won a world title, especially in Argentina, and he's walked away without it. No, if he can lift that title tomorrow night, no one in the country will begrudge him.
Thanks, Jamie. Get back to you, man. Let's just bring Eddie in for a final summing up. If we can get you off your phone, you're probably trying to find a cruiserweight for... oh, you've got one?
No, I spoke to the WBO, and they're happy with the procedure that we anticipated, which is the next available guy gets the shot at the world title against Lawrence Okoli. So we go down the rankings now, and that's what I was just texting about. And I'll keep you all informed. Follow me on social media at Eddie Hearn, like and subscribe or whatever you have to do.
That's why you've kept your phone clear from the people that want the tickets for AJ. It's because
you've already posted my interview saying if you want tickets, don't call me. So I've just retweeted that, and hopefully my phone will get quiet now. So no, lots to do, but enjoyed that. And listen, I was here listening to Jamie Moore, and if you're around the Martin Murray camp, you know, you really feel like they have a great chance on Friday. But what you do know is they will give it everything to try and beat Billy Joe Saunders. I thought Billy Joe Saunders looked fantastic on the scales.
I agree with you.
It's hard sometimes when a fighter moves up a weight division, isn't it, to think, wow, you were 8 pounds lighter for most of your career. It doesn't look like he's got 8 pounds to give. He looks like a real super middleweight now. So Murray, the bigger man though, I thought, you know, in the face-off, but just so many questions to be answered on Friday night. You know, does Murray still have it in him? Will he lay everything on the line? Can Billy Joe put in the performance that we all need and we all want to see? I think in that environment, as we said, anything can happen. Don't rule out anything tomorrow night other than a lot of fun.
And every single fighter looks in tremendous condition as well, you know, up and down the card. You saw James Tennyson looking brilliant, Shannon Courtney at the new weight. Real opportunities for all of them.
Yeah, and this is the platform. You know, this is the opportunity. As I said earlier, you've got to go out there, you've got to take this opportunity with both hands. I think Shannon Courtney's got a really tough fight. I mean, anyone that hasn't watched Doretta Lorek, she's a handful. She's actually a bit of a nightmare to fight. She has an MMA background. She comes in, she likes to smother, she likes to fight on the inside.
You're not making it easy for Shannon or for Loss.
Listen, to be honest with you, I won't lie. I wanted an easier opponent. But, you know, we had a last-minute withdrawal at the end of last week. Doretta came in. Style-wise, it's not ideal. This is a really tough fight, especially when you're lacking in confidence after the Rachel Ball fight. So, but Shannon Courtney just shows you that, you know, to lose that 8 or 9 pounds that she's coming like, she looks fantastic. She looks like she's weighing in for a fight. You know, you see a lot of these fighters come in, and I thought Josh O'Reilly looked fantastic as well. James Tennyson looked strong, but O'Reilly in great nick, and, you know, I think we're going to get some great fights tomorrow night, and I think we're going to get a couple of surprises as well.
Eddie, thanks very much. That's it, the weigh-in all tidied up. Friday night, not Saturday, remember, this week, December the 4th, topped by Billy Joe Saunders and Martin Murray, James Tennyson, Shannon Courtney, Zach Parker, so many others. Lorraine Richards, we're looking forward to seeing his Matchroom debut as well. It's stacked, it's a great night, and it's a great hors d'oeuvre before the big one next week, Joshua and Pulev, who will be in the bubble very, very shortly. Thanks for joining us.